Some partial load faculty are second guessing their position after today's missive about how OPSEU's proposal would make things more precarious for partial load faculty. Like, what are our demands so that we can persuade our partial load and full-time colleagues to reject the CEC offer and understand, the fear mongering that happened in that email that actually we're asking to make things worse for partial load faculty, which is kind of bizarre, but they did make that assertion out there in all of our email inboxes today that our demands would actually make things worse for partial load faculty.
That is such a solid question. I'm going to actually turn this one over to Ravi Ramkissoon-Singh, who's been handling a lot of the partial load language and really following this one closely. Ravi, are you able to take a question on the Orwellian misinformation that the CEC has been engaged in on partial load issues?
Yeah, so that was a weird one today, and really, it's difficult to understand what they're exactly getting at. But I think they don't like the proposal that if a partial load member has the seniority, right, or the service, and they've taught the courses previously, then what we're saying is that then they should get those courses that they have the priority for up to their 12 hours, right, their 12-hour workload. And so that's all we're saying. And so again, what they were saying today in that missive, it was a bit strange because we've had, I believe since 2012 was the first time that language entered into the collective agreement around partial load seniority. It's kind of weak, it was weak language at that time, but it was a wedge that we were hoping to build on, and we have since that time. So it's really weird because that's just simply what, as a partial load member, right? If you have seniority, then yeah, you're going to get offered courses before somebody who has less seniority if both of you have taught those courses, right? There's nothing new here. So I think again, it's just a case of the CEC trying to muddy the waters. Nothing more, nothing less, right? The CEC, I'm going to say, I think they're pretty sure, or they're pretty concerned at this point, they're not going to win this vote. And I suspect they know they're not going to win this vote, but they're going to try to throw everything that they can. This is a last gasp for them, right? And so I think you're going to see them throw a lot of stuff out there in these emails over the next couple of weeks that are unclear. A lot of it cloaked in very corporate, corporate speak or corporate babble, right? And so, I think expect more of that sort of thing. But yeah, it's that's it. What they said today really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's pretty much, I think, all I can say on that one.
Well, and maybe one follow-up pointer or comment is that, certainly we saw in the 2018 round of bargaining that the CEC and the colleges asserted repeatedly that partial load faculty have full-time jobs. They don't want jobs. And so like this, I think this particular communication is again trying to get at the idea that we're going to get rid of these folks and and they don't even need jobs. But I mean, that's not what I hear. I'm just wondering what you see, because certainly a fraction of partial load faculty might have full-time jobs working in industry, but there's an awful lot of people who need that 12 hours of a livable wage because this is one of their primary jobs. And I don't know if you have anything to add about that.
Oh, I think you've said it, RM. Basically, yeah, you're absolutely correct, right? But they tried to make it sound that, again, this is basically the gig economy, right? And so the CEC, like many other employers, they try to portray it as that, people, this is just gig work. People are just, they're just, this is what they want, right? It's just to have this gig work and put different gig jobs together, and they're just happy doing that, right? And that, these partial load members they're not actually looking for anything more than that, right? And we know we know that's certainly not the case. We do have, we have different types of partial load members. We have many who are, doing this with the hope of having more security over the long term and perhaps landing a full-time position, right? That's many of our partial load. We also have some partial load who are, they're okay being partial load, that's what fits for them, but they want to continue to be partial load over the long term, right? And have security as a partial load member. And then, yeah, I think, but again, the CEC doesn't want to acknowledge those things, right? So
I just want to add to that, Ravi, it's pretty rich coming from a group of people who have fought this hard to ensure that part-time and sessionals have job security, who have unionized representation. It's pretty rich to turn around when you spent like literally tens of millions of dollars fighting job security for contract faculty to then say that your proposals are designed to enhance it. Just want to put that out as a simple comparison too.
Oh, I totally agree, right? And I mean, just that, again, how much they fought against part-time and sessional faculty, certifying as a union, right? They're union busters, right? The CEC, we know this is who they are, right? They are who we know them to be. They are into union busting. That's, Exhibit A, what they've done there. And that's exactly what they've been trying to do with all of us, right? They tried it in 2017 and they failed. And they're trying it again in 2021, 22, and they're going to fail again.